Hello and welcome back once again to our How to Paint series. We're still working on our Sanguinor here. Last time we got a lot of that base coat done, both with the wings and with our Sanguinor himself, I guess. And actually the wings we only did the undercoat. And today I think we actually are going to start with those. We want kind of a nice bright white, so we're going to go ahead and use this Corax here, and it's the brightest I have, so hopefully it's good enough for us. And of course, if I can move my things around here, my palette is actually cluttered with brushes, unfortunately. I'm going to go ahead and get my brush nice and wet, and we'll try to make our paint nice and thin here for us. I really don't want any clumping while we do these wings. I want them to be as pristine as possible. And as I try to keep this in frame, I'm just going to go ahead and apply this white all over. I am using a little bit of a small brush for this, but that's alright. I'd rather have kind of the precision and control of how much paint we have that a small brush kind of affords us here. I think I just saw a bug fly under my keypad, keypad, whatever you want to call it. It was very quick. Maybe I'm just seeing things, but I swear I just saw something go under it, so I'm not looking forward to that. I just killed a ladybug a minute ago, and I feel like that's a second one. Or maybe it's just I'm seeing things and I'm paranoid. I have a massive phobia of bugs, and I feel like that's kind of getting to me now. So hopefully I don't get attacked here in the middle of a video. That wouldn't be fun. We are going to continue on though, like nothing ever happened. And my paint's actually starting to dry up a little bit, so we'll get some more water mixed in on our palette. And we'll keep powering through. We'll probably have to come back and do another coat on these wings at some point, but this white is very nice looking. As it dries, it's kind of almost more of like a bluish white, kind of, but I think that's more just the undercoat. The gray sear really adds to that effect. I don't mind it. I don't have anything else brighter, so we'll roll with this. I'm gonna take it as it comes, and we'll just kind of enjoy it for what it is. I actually had to stop playing Factorio to do this. I try to do an upload a day, as many of you probably know. Unfortunately, I've had kind of a rough spot in trying to get some videos out. I also haven't been able to play Factorio very much this week, which hurts me. So I was trying to get some playtime in, and then it gave me a headache. It really just the logistics and the advancements. I've been trying to get into the DLC, and it really just became a little bit overwhelming. So I kind of had to step back from it. And I figure what better way to deal with the headache than to paint Warhammer and just kind of get all my worries out of my head. Because Factorio was getting to be just absolutely overwhelming, unfortunately. The sad part is, like, I have the DLC. I've played probably about an extra 100 hours since I bought it. I have not even gotten to space yet. I've restarted my game twice now, I think. I hope to prevent that from happening again. Every time I try to build a better factory, and I think this is kind of the one. I've got plenty of room. I've really spaced things out. I'm really happy with it. And I'm kind of frustrated enough that I just don't want to restart again. So I'm hoping this is the one, right? And we'll kind of stop and take a little bit of a look here as we finish this wing up. It is coming along quite nicely. The thing is, normally, because this does have a lot of like little recesses, where the individual kind of feathers are, normally I'd kind of come in with Nuln Oil or Agrax and try to really make those recesses pop. But the risk with that, especially on a model that I kind of want to be more pristine, and it's meant to be like angelic, right? That's the vibes you're meant to get from this. I really don't want to risk ruining that up or muddying it at all with any washes on the wings themselves. So I think I'm just going to kind of let it lie, and we'll let the recesses themselves kind of do all the work. We won't apply any washes to it because I really don't want to lose that bright white that we have going on. But we will switch around to the other sides here as we kind of trunch along. And we'll start with this back side. And then we'll go back and do the other side as well. And maybe that's a little bit too much paint I've applied, but we'll try to spread it out. I just want to speed things up a little bit, but I don't want to ruin things here. I've been watching, I forget the name of his channel. I think it's Patrician. He does these like really long, like game, not reviews. I don't know the right term for him. He basically goes back and looks at like the old Elder Scrolls games, and he has one for like Fallouts, or a couple of the Fallouts, I believe. He does one for like Skyrim. But I've really been watching his video on Oblivion. I've never really talked about it before on this channel, but Oblivion is like, it was my introduction to the Elder Scrolls series. Is my absolute favorite game of the series. Skyrim, of course, being great, but it just does not compare. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because it was the first one, but it is absolutely a gem, and I would kill for a remake. Please, Todd. You've released Skyrim how many times? You can at least release Oblivion one more time. That's all I ask. But he has this like 12-hour long video. Maybe it's like 8 hours. I think the Skyrim one is actually 12 hours. Either way, this dude has this crazy long video on Oblivion, and I've been watching it recently for the second time. I'm that much of a Oblivion fanboy. I've watched a 8-hour long video on it twice now. And I gotta say, every time I watch it, I just want to play the game again. I don't know, man. There's something about it. It's not even the fact, like, it is a good game. The more you play it, though, and kind of looking back on it in retrospective, that was the word I was looking for, actually. Retrospective. It is dated, and it's not really up to snuff with today's standards, but man, I don't know whether it's just the nostalgia or it has such like a weird charm to it. And like I've gone through, I've played Morrowind. I like Morrowind a lot. I think it's also very dated, and I would also love a remake of that. But it's not the same feeling, right? If I go back and play Morrowind, I don't feel anything like that at all, like I do with Oblivion. I don't know. That game is like mystifying in a way. It's just so unique and so well done. It really makes you kind of feel like you're in that world when you play it. And I love the forests. I love the cities, the castles. I don't like the level design with like the enemies and stuff. I think the caves are boring. I really dislike the Oblivion gates. And actually, as a kid, I hated them as well. Like they're just not good. But man, all of them kind of come together to make like this absolute masterpiece of a game, and I just really want to play it again. But I know the moment I start playing it, it's gonna be like, I hate this. This is dated. This is terrible. But watching videos about it, man, sign me up. I will do that every day of the week. I absolutely love that sort of thing. That's just gonna be my weird gripe for the day. I'm out of Warhammer lore, so I'm just gonna talk about Elder Scrolls instead. And I know like their lore is really deep. It's almost a little bit too nerdy for me, which is funny, considering how much I know about like 40K and the Horus Heresy and all of that. Elder Scrolls lore just does not connect with me the same way though, and it's kind of weird. Like, I've watched really long videos on it, but none of it sinks in in the same way as, like, 40K does. Like, I watch a 10-minute, video on a 40K thing, and I know, like, everything about it. Like, I could recite that back to you uh, just multiple times over. I watch a 12-hour long video on an Oblivion lore, and none of it sticks. Like I will struggle to tell you what the video is even called. But yeah, it's it's something, man. I love the games, but I just don't get the lore at all. And actually, I'll try to reposition my hand a little bit here. We are coming to a close with these wings as I ramble on about random things, as I tend to do. And at some point, we do need to go back over this body a little bit. The gold isn't really as flushed out as I want it to be. It definitely needs another coat. But I think before we do that, we are going to do these little parchment kind of papers that he's hovering on. I think it'll be really nice to get those done. So that's going to be our next goal. And I think, I'm not sure which one I have. I think I'm using Flayed One Flesh for that. Obviously, there's a couple of choices. Anything tan really is what you want. Flayed One Flesh is one. I kind of forget the names of the other ones. Wraithbone, obviously, is another choice if you want something kind of lighter. But that kind of borders more on like grayish tan. And then there's one more that I use, but I cannot remember the name of it right now. It's another one of those like flesh tone paints, though. So any of those will really work for you as we get into our next step. And we'll also do a wash at some point, but that's another one you can really kind of play around with. I think for this one specifically, we're going to use Reikland Flesh Shade, but you can also use Agrax or Nuln Oil for a lot of this. It is just kind of personal choice, and that's I had my hand there on the little iron halo that's actually starting to dig into my hand. So that's the wings. I'll probably do a little bit of a touch-up in between videos. I don't want to bore you guys too much on that, but we are going to start with those parchment papers I previously mentioned. And let me clean off my brush just a little bit before we do that. I don't want to muddy this paint if I can avoid it. And just to make sure I was right, this is Flayed One Flesh. It's going to give us a nice tan. But this isn't actually going to do much of the work for us. This is, of course, going to give us a good base to work off of. But really, it's going to be that wash that we're using that's going to bring the parchment here to life. And as always, make sure our paint is nice and thin. And maybe that's a little bit too thin, but that's fine. There's never any harm in going too thin, but there is always harm in going too thick. It's words to live by there. You can apply that to anything you want. Any innuendos. I will not stop you. And we'll just make our way down. Of course, we'll do a couple of coats with this. We'll probably do some of it off camera. I do kind of want to lean more towards doing some cleanup and stuff in between videos. I did do a little bit with the body. You can probably tell maybe. Not all of it, of course, because there was a much needed second layer, and I just did not get around to it. But I did do some touch up. Definitely got kind of those areas that were very, very see-through with that undercoat. And we'll try to finish that off probably after this. Also, the sword for this model, I'm trying to show this one-handed. I can't really spin it around. I'm kind of debating how I'm going to do it. I don't know. I have a couple of options. So I can either do really basic, whoa, as I drop this, forgive me. It's really hard doing this one-handed. I wish I was using my paint handle. I can either do the sword silver and just like a little bit of blue kind of lightning effect for like the power sword. Normally with power swords, I don't even bother with that. I just kind of like a pure silver. It's just kind of more aesthetically pleasing in my head. But given that this is a special model, I kind of don't want to do that. So either I'm going to do the silver with the lightning going on, and we'll do some like nice blue effects, or here's my second proposition. that I'm proposing to myself. It's not so much to you guys. By the time this video goes out, I'll probably be done with this model. So my second choice, which I'm debating about, is going to be kind of matching the wings almost and doing a nice like bright white blade. I think that'd be pretty fun. And then just doing the kind of blue highlights on that. I feel like that would be a little bit cooler maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm very much debating with myself. But of course, whenever you guys see it, it'll probably be like part 3 that I do it in. You'll see obviously what choice I made. So kind of stay tuned for that, I guess. I'm also debating with myself a little bit over how I'm going to do this parchment, because obviously I can just slap some Agrax Earthshade on there or whatever, and call it a day like I usually do with like, the, good lord, I forget the name of them every time. The little prayer papers that you see like stuck to Space Marines. Normally I just do washes on that and that's the end of it. I'm kind of debating like using a really small brush and some like black to do like kind of writing on here. Obviously it's all just going to be little squiggles because I'm not that talented, but I'm thinking about doing that and then just doing a wash on top of it to really kind of sell the effect. It's another thing I'm on the fence about though. I definitely not too sure. It'll be something to kind of think about in between parts as I'm kind of cleaning this all up. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. If for some reason this video comes out in a timely manner and I haven't done the next part yet, which is always the case. I'm intending to do this in a batch, but I don't know. Maybe I'll be doing cleanup and I'll get bored or something. So feel free to kind of leave comments about how you want to see me do some of this. I don't mind that at all. Just be aware that it might not do any good because I may have already finished the model by the time I end up seeing your comment. So don't think that whatever you put I'm gonna follow, because full disclaimer, I probably won't. And he also has this little thing on his leg. I'm telling you, if you've seen my other videos where I talk about it, I always forget the name of them. It's like a battle prayer oath paper. I don't know. It's like right there in my head, but I can't think of it. Either way, we are gonna paint it if we can. If I can reposition myself, there we are. Actually, I just wiped all that paint off my brush. I accidentally dropped it on my hand, and just very gently kind of slather this on there. Just a little bit, and we'll try to get the back of that as well. Purity seal, that's what they're called. Purity seals. Good lord. I was going to absolutely hate myself if I couldn't think of that by the end of the video. I don't know what it is about them, man. I have one on my backpack that I carry around for work, and whenever people ask me what they are, I just kind of draw a blank and just stare at them awkwardly. Like, oh, it's a, and it leads to a whole interaction that's just really awkward. I don't know what it is about them. I don't have that problem with like any other word. I don't have that problem with anything else 40k related. I can usually remember what stuff is called. If not, like it's a one-time occurrence, just kind of tip of the tongue sort of thing. I'm not even that bad with like people's names. It's just those things, purity seals, really just blank on me for some reason. I do not know. I know in Horus Heresy they're called Oath of Moments. Like, I know that, but I don't know what they're called in 40k. It's absolutely ridiculous. Whatever. It's just my burden to bear, I guess. Just not remembering what that specific thing is called. If someone was, like, in a bomb situation or, like, a hostage situation, and their survival depended on my ability to remember what purity seals are called, they would die. I'm not even gonna, try to sugarcoat it. Like, they're just dead. I'm sorry. Like, they have like my best friend, tied to the front of a train, and they're like, well, it's gonna go off the tracks unless you can tell me what this weird paper is called. Sorry, man, you're gone. You are gone. You have my pet strapped to a bomb. It's about to go into a raging inferno. Yeah, sorry. That dog's gone. I can't help you because I will never be able to remember what they're called, whether I'm under pressure or not. It's just a lost cause. But as we kind of wrap things up here, I will do the rest of this base coat in between parts, and I'll of course try to clean up these wings. I do want to shout out that I have a Patreon. If you guys enjoy the videos and you enjoy my content, you want to see more like it, feel free to check that out. It means a lot to me if you do. If not, don't worry about it too much. It's not a huge deal. It's just a little bit of a way to kind of give back and help out the videos. Otherwise, remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to talk about commissions or just send me an email, that's also linked in the description. Otherwise, thank you guys very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.